So, really not quite sure how to do an introduction for this book. I really didn't have any sort of witty, clever monologue prepared this week. So I thought I'd start with this. I'm Mark Jones, and this is 7 of 52. C.S. Lewis first delivered Mere Christianity in part as some radio talks that he delivered on morality and on Christianity. The book is divided into four major sections in which he basically builds a foundation for a case for Christianity, and then he builds upon that what Christianity should look like. And then he finishes it off with some theological discussion. Basically, with the title, Mere Christianity, he is exploring the tenets and foundations of Christianity, and to basically glean from all denominations and all different practices in Christianity what the essential, I suppose, the central point of Christianity really is, without delving too much into doctrine, because as the author put it himself, doctrines are not God, they are only kind of a map. The first section is called Right and Wrong as a Clue to the Meaning of the Universe. In this section, he basically talks about the law of human nature, which is the idea that all of humanity, all of mankind, has sort of an unspoken, unwritten code of conduct that we expect everybody else to act by, which is basically, don't be selfish, don't be a jerk. At times, this idea of right and wrong supersedes our own instincts and will cause us to consider which instinct is the better to act upon. For example, the example he gave was perhaps you hear somebody calling for help. Now you're going to have two instincts. One would be to run and help that person. The other instinct would be to save your own skin and run away. But this sort of code of morality that we all have built into us would kind of make you stop and think, okay, now do I choose to do the right thing and help this person, or do I run away and save my own skin? Saving this person is definitely the right thing to do. So the overall idea of the section is really that this idea of a pre-programmed morality exists. And if a pre-programmed sense of morality exists, it had to come from somewhere. And so that's what kind of leads into Section 2. Section 2 is called What Christians Believe, and basically it builds a case for Christianity as the answer to the questions caused by this sense of morality. The section also goes over what are the central and most important beliefs to Christianity, or mere Christianity. Section 3 is on Christian behavior. So it kind of builds from this presenting Christianity as the answer. He goes into Section 3 where he says, if you're a Christian, this is what your behavior should look like based on what the scriptures say, what the Bible says. So this would be the section where he talks about the cardinal virtues, which are prudence, temperance, justice, and fortitude. He also talks about the theological virtues, which are faith, hope, and charity. So each of these virtues gets at least its own paragraph, if not a whole chapter devoted. Faith actually has 2 chapters. But the idea is to be able to identify these things in our own lives and where to encourage it in ourselves and others, and where to, be able to identify the shortcomings. The final section is Beyond Personality, or First Steps into the Doctrine of the Trinity. This is the last section where basically he talks about doctrine, and even in the beginning of this section kind of says, if you're not ready for this, kind of skip over it. All in all, the whole book was fantastic. I found myself many times realizing, especially in the section on pride, during Section 3, I found myself realizing, hey, this is where I have a lot of issues with my own life. So I highly recommend this book if you want to find the right questions to ask yourself to figure out, I suppose, what you believe. Also to help you understand yourself a little bit better. It presents some great questions on what you can ask yourself. So, of course, there's going to be a link down below where you can purchase it on Amazon.com or something like that. Well, thanks for watching OfFiftyTwo. I'm Mark Jones. Of course, this episode was filmed by Will Driskill, and you can follow him on Twitter at Pen and Pensive. You can follow me on Twitter at Mark Jones Audio. The hashtag for this series is actually down here in the corner, as usual. If you're following along at home, next week's book is All the Pretty Horses by Cormac McCarthy. But once again, thanks for watching OfFiftyTwo. I'm Mark Jones, and I'll see you guys next Tuesday.